Most people work hard every single day. They wake up early, rush to their jobs, deal with stress, follow rules, and wait for the weekend. At the end of the month, they get paid, feel relieved for a moment, and then watch that money slowly disappear. Bills, rent, food, loans, subscriptions, everything takes a piece. And before they realize it, they are back at zero again, waiting for the next paycheck. What's shocking is that this cycle repeats for years, decades, sometimes for an entire lifetime. Not because people are lazy or unintelligent, but because they were never taught how money actually works. Society teaches us how to earn money, but it almost never teaches us how to manage it, grow it, or protect it. From a very young age, most people are given the same instructions: study hard, get good grades, find a stable job, and work until retirement. This sounds safe, responsible, and logical, but if this formula truly worked, financial stress wouldn't be so common. People wouldn't be anxious about money. They wouldn't fear emergencies or depend on debt to survive. The truth is, income alone does not create wealth. Many people earn good salaries and still live paycheck to paycheck. At the same time, others earn less but build financial security over time. The difference is not luck. The difference is how they think about money. Most people believe that earning more money will fix everything. They believe that a higher salary, a better job, or a promotion will finally bring financial freedom. But without the right habits and mindset, more money only leads to bigger expenses, bigger responsibilities, and bigger problems. Money is not just about numbers. It's about behavior, decisions, and patterns that repeat every month. If those patterns are broken, no amount of income can help. And if those patterns are fixed, even a small income can grow into something powerful. In this video, we're going to break down why most people stay broke, starting with the very first mistake they don't even realize they are making. Once you understand this, you'll never look at money the same way again. The first major reason most people stay broke is because they trade time for money their entire lives. They are taught that the only way to earn is to sell hours. Work more hours, get more pay. Stop working, and the money stops too. This model feels normal because almost everyone around us lives this way, but normal does not mean smart. When you trade time for money, you put a hard limit on your income. There are only 24 hours in a day, and you can only work so many of them. No matter how skilled or hardworking you are, your income is capped by time. This is why even high-paid professionals often feel trapped. They earn well, but they cannot stop working without losing everything. This system also creates fear. Fear of losing a job, fear of getting sick, fear of economic changes. When your income depends completely on your presence, you are always one problem away from financial stress. Most people don't realize this until something goes wrong: a layoff, an illness, or an unexpected expense. We are rarely taught to think beyond active income. Schools don't explain the difference between working for money and having money work for you. They don't talk about building systems, assets, or income streams that continue even when you are not actively working. Because of this, people become comfortable in financial cages they don't even see. They believe stability comes from a job, when in reality, true stability comes from control. Control over how money is earned, saved, and multiplied. This doesn't mean jobs are bad. Jobs are useful tools. But relying on a single source of income that depends entirely on your time is one of the biggest financial risks most people take without realizing it. And until this mindset changes, financial freedom will always feel out of reach. In the next part, we'll talk about another hidden trap that keeps people stuck, even when they start earning more money.
Another major reason most people stay broke is lifestyle inflation. This happens when expenses increase every time income increases. A small raise feels exciting at first, but very quickly, a better phone, a bigger house, a nicer car, or more expensive habits replace that extra income. Before long, the bank balance looks exactly the same as before. Lifestyle inflation is dangerous because it feels like progress. On the surface, life looks better, but behind the scenes, financial pressure stays the same or even gets worse. People earn more, but they also owe more. More bills, more commitments, and less freedom. Society quietly encourages this behavior. Success is often measured by what you can show, your lifestyle, your possessions, and how busy you look. Very few people talk about net worth, savings, or long-term security. As a result, people spend to look successful instead of building actual wealth. What makes this worse is that lifestyle inflation is invisible. People don't sit down and decide to increase their expenses. It happens slowly. A little upgrade here, a small luxury there, and suddenly the extra income is gone. The cycle continues, and the idea of "one day I'll save" keeps getting pushed further into the future. This is why many people who earn high incomes feel just as stressed as those who earn less. The problem isn't income, it's behavior. Without control, money becomes a tool for comfort and validation instead of freedom. Wealth is not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep and what you do with what you keep. Until people learn to separate their self-worth from their lifestyle, financial growth will always be temporary. In the next part, we'll look at a belief about saving money that sounds smart but actually keeps people stuck.
Most people believe that saving money alone will make them financially secure. They are told to save whatever is left at the end of the month and feel responsible for doing so. While saving is important, this belief is incomplete and often misleading. Saving by itself does not create wealth, and for many people, it creates a false sense of progress. The problem is that most people save after spending, not before. They pay their bills, enjoy their lifestyle, and then try to save whatever remains. In most cases, there is nothing left. Even when they manage to save a little, inflation slowly eats away its value. Money sitting still loses power over time. Another issue is that people are taught to save without a clear purpose. They save out of fear, not strategy. Fear of emergencies, fear of the future, fear of instability. This keeps them emotionally attached to their savings and afraid to use money as a tool for growth. Saving should be the foundation, not the finish line. It protects you from short-term problems, but it does not solve long-term ones. Without investing or building assets, saving alone cannot create financial freedom. Many people confuse safety with stagnation. They believe avoiding risk is smart, but avoiding all risk guarantees slow decline. Money must be put to work in order to grow. Otherwise, you are running on a treadmill, moving but never going anywhere. In the next part, we'll talk about something even more powerful than income or saving: the way people make financial decisions under pressure.
One of the biggest reasons people stay broke is emotional decision-making. Money decisions are rarely logical. They are driven by fear, excitement, stress, and comparison. When people feel pressure, they make short-term choices that feel good now but hurt them later. Fear is a powerful force. Fear of missing out pushes people to buy things they don't need. Fear of looking unsuccessful pushes them to spend beyond their limits. Fear of losing money stops them from learning how to invest properly. These emotions quietly control financial behavior. Another emotional trigger is comparison. Social media shows highlights, not reality. People compare their behind the scenes to someone else's best moments. This creates dissatisfaction and leads to unnecessary spending. People don't buy things because they need them, they buy them to feel equal or accepted. Stress also plays a major role. When life feels overwhelming, spending becomes a form of escape. Small purchases feel like rewards, but repeated over time, they become financial traps. The damage is not caused by one big mistake, but by many small emotional decisions. Wealthy individuals learn to slow down their decisions. They separate emotions from money. They ask simple questions before spending or investing. Does this help my future? Does this move me closer to freedom or further away from it? Money rewards discipline, not impulse. Until people learn to control emotions around money, their financial situation will keep repeating the same patterns, no matter how much they earn. In the next part, we'll explore why lack of financial education keeps people stuck, even when information is everywhere.
Another major reason most people stay broke is the lack of financial education. This is not their fault. Schools teach math, history, and science, but they rarely teach how money actually works in real life. As a result, people grow up knowing how to earn money, but not how to manage, grow, or protect it. Most people learn about money through trial and error. They make mistakes, take bad loans, trust the wrong advice, or follow what everyone else is doing. By the time they realize something is wrong, years have already passed. The cost of ignorance is not just financial, it's emotional stress and lost opportunities. Information is everywhere today, but knowledge is not the same as understanding. People watch random videos, read headlines, or follow trends without learning the fundamentals. This leads to confusion and fear. When people don't understand money, they either avoid it completely or take reckless risks. Financial education is not about complex formulas or advanced investing. It starts with simple concepts: cash flow, assets versus liabilities, long-term thinking, and risk management. Without these basics, people make decisions blindly and hope for the best. Those who escape the cycle of being broke usually make one key decision. They decide to learn. They take responsibility for their financial future instead of outsourcing it to employers, governments, or luck. Learning changes how money is seen, from something stressful to something controllable. In the next part, we'll talk about a mindset shift that completely changes how people approach wealth and long-term success. The people who escape being broke all share one powerful mindset shift. They stop thinking like consumers and start thinking like owners. Most people spend their entire lives focused on consuming products, entertainment, services, and even debt. Very few people stop and ask who owns the systems they are paying into every month. A consumer mindset asks, what can I buy next? An owner mindset asks, what can I build or own? This shift changes everything. Instead of spending money only for comfort or status, money is used to acquire assets, things that generate income or increase in value over time. This could be businesses, investments, skills, or digital assets. Ownership creates leverage. Consumption creates dependency. Most people never develop this mindset because ownership feels slow and uncomfortable at first. There is no instant reward. Building assets requires patience, learning, and delayed gratification. But over time, the results compound quietly, while most people remain stuck chasing short-term pleasure. Owners focus on long-term outcomes. They understand that small, consistent actions matter more than big emotional moves. They are willing to look boring in the short term to live freely in the long term. This doesn't mean avoiding enjoyment or living with extreme restriction. It means being intentional. Every dollar has a job. Either it is working for your future or it is disappearing forever. In the next part, we'll talk about consistency and why small actions repeated over time matter more than big decisions. Most people believe that becoming wealthy requires one big decision or a life-changing moment. In reality, wealth is built through small actions repeated consistently over time. The problem is that small actions don't feel powerful, so people ignore them. They wait for motivation, the perfect opportunity, or the right time to start. Consistency is boring, and that's why it works. Saving a small amount regularly, learning a little every day, or investing steadily doesn't create excitement. But over months and years, these actions compound into massive results. Most people quit because they don't see immediate progress.
Inconsistent behavior creates unstable results. 1 month of discipline, followed by months of neglect, cancels everything out. This is why people feel like they're always starting over. They underestimate how powerful consistency really is. Those who build wealth design systems instead of relying on motivation. They automate savings, schedule learning, and create routines that remove emotion from decision-making. This reduces mistakes and builds momentum quietly in the background. Time rewards those who stay patient. Money grows slowly at first, then faster, then suddenly. Most people give up right before the curve changes. They confuse slow progress with failure. In the next part, we'll talk about patience and why rushing money is one of the fastest ways to lose it.
One of the biggest mistakes people make with money is trying to get rich quickly. They chase shortcuts, trends, and promises of fast results. This mindset usually leads to disappointment, losses, and even deeper financial problems. The desire to rush wealth often comes from frustration and impatience. Fast money stories are everywhere. Social media highlights overnight success, but hides years of effort, failures, and learning. People see the result without the process and assume speed is normal. When reality doesn't match these expectations, they take unnecessary risks to catch up. Rushing money leads to poor decisions. People invest in things they don't understand, trust the wrong people, or borrow money to chase returns. Instead of building a strong foundation, they gamble with their future. Even when they win temporarily, the lack of discipline usually brings them back to zero. Wealth requires patience because it grows through compounding. Compounding needs time to work. Cutting that time short breaks the entire process. Those who succeed financially respect time and allow money to grow gradually. Financial freedom is not a sprint. It's a long-term game of smart decisions, controlled risk, and emotional discipline. Those who accept this reality protect themselves from unnecessary losses and stress. In the final part, we'll bring everything together and talk about the simple path anyone can follow to break free from being broke.
Breaking free from being broke doesn't require luck, genius, or extreme sacrifice. It requires awareness, discipline, and a willingness to think differently from the majority. Most people stay stuck because they never pause to question the system they are following. They repeat the same habits, expect different results, and blame circumstances when nothing changes. The path forward is simple, but not easy. Stop trading all your time for money. Control your lifestyle instead of letting it control you. Save with purpose, not fear. Learn how money works before trusting it anywhere. Separate emotions from financial decisions. Focus on ownership, not consumption. Be consistent, patient, and realistic with your expectations. This journey doesn't happen overnight, but every smart decision moves you one step closer to freedom. Every bad habit you break creates space for growth. Over time, those small shifts compound into a life with less stress, more options, and real control over your future. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to start. Start learning, start tracking, start thinking long-term. Most people never do, and that's why the gap keeps growing between those who struggle and those who build wealth. If this video changed how you think about money, even slightly, then it has done its job. The goal isn't to impress, it's to create awareness that lasts. And if you want to continue this journey, make sure you're subscribed. More videos like this will break down money, investing, and wealth in the simplest way possible. Because once you understand money, you stop chasing it and start controlling it.